Hello, welcome to this video. This is a comparison and contrast video on Pokemon versus palworld characters to compare their similarities and such. So let's look at the first comparison that this article by Dexerto makes, which is Fengalope and Cobalion. Well, these two, if we look at Cobalion, here has a particular shape, straight horns. It's got a mane on its front. It's got edges on here. It's on all fours. And it's got side fins here with 3 jagged edges. And it is blue color with 2 spots on each. And it's got a unique profile as well. So let's look at Fengalope. Now, as you can see, Fengalope's mane is a cloud shape. Its horns are noticeably different with curves and spikes, and it's got the same general profile as a quadrupedal ungulate, which is public domain because you can't copyright deer or cows because they're public domain animals. So the general shape is not really... the side fins have 2 spikes with alternating colors, and its hooves are slightly smaller. So let's go back to Cobalion. As you can see, its mane here, its chest mane, is not a cloud shape. It's got 3 spikes rather than 2, and the alternating colors are 2 different colors. Its hooves are noticeably longer in length and noticeably different, as well as its antlers do not curve and do not have the spikes on them, and the eye color is different. Therefore, these are 2 different characters with unique characteristics that deviate from each other in thematic presentation. So let's go back to the article here. What's the second one? Okay, so Astagon versus Mega Aggron. I don't even have to freaking pull the things up. I can see their whole profiles here. Astagon is black in color. He has a different shaped head. The helmet mounts that they have are noticeably different in size, as the back end flares out with 2 spikes that shoot out on Mega Aggron, whereas that's not present in Astagon's theme. Astagon has wings, and which have a emission pattern, a red emission pattern on them. There are 3 claws that are a luminescent pattern, and the feet are kind of similar, but the chest carapace is more flat, whereas in Mega Aggron it is more rotund. And the eye color is different, and the eye color in Astagon has glowing emissions, whereas the eye color is just a blue shade in Mega Aggron. Therefore, these 2 cannot be confused for each other, and they are unique enough to be established as not distinct from each other, so you cannot confuse Astagon for Mega Aggron with the noticed differences between the 2. Jet Dragon versus the Eon duo. Okay, so we have whole pictures there. I don't have to go to their thing. This is a general flying dragon type with notable differences. One being the headpiece, whereas this one has the ears shooting out like aircraft ailerons or aircraft wings on the top of its head, with freaking 2 spikes shooting down on the jawline. Whereas this does not have the spike shooting down, and the ears are pointed into a different direction. The eye color is different in one of them, however it is red in the other. But the headpiece is blue, and it extends as a helmet over the entire design in Jet Dragon. The Jet Dragon gives off emission patterns on its tail ends, as well as the trunnion here on the Jet Dragon is not present in the Eon duo. The tail feathers are more like a helicopter's tail fin in Jet Dragon, and the emission patterns back here, which are noticeably different from the Eon duo. So that is a noticeable difference. So therefore, you cannot confuse these 2 creatures for this creature. Therefore, there is no confusion in terms of brand between the 2 of these. Alright, so they're asserting that Osurk is similar to Garchomp in toxicity. Alright, so Osurk has unique antlers that are not present in either of these two. Garchomp has a star on his head, which is not present in the Osurk. The the spikes on the feet shoot in a different direction. The color patterns are drastically different, whereas Toxicity is purple, whereas this creature is black and yellow. The Garchomp is yellow and blue, I believe, and which is not present in Garchomp, as well as Garchomp has a red and yellow underbelly, whereas this one has a white belly with a yellow belt striping. And the feet are appear to be yellow boots with 3 toes, which is a noticeable difference, whereas the Garchomp appears to be barefoot. The tail on the Garchomp is noticeably different, as well as the wings in itself. Therefore, these three cannot be confused for each other, and they are unique characteristic designs. Boltmane versus Luxray is okay. The designs here are different. The tail, which is not shown, is the Luxray has a spiked tail, whereas the Boltmane has a straight tail. The ears are different, whereas the Luxray has a round ear shape, whereas the Luxray has a round, and the Boltmane has spiked ears, much like Wolf. The eyes are different color, whereas the yellow and red eyes are different in the Boltmane, whereas the Boltmane has more protrude wolf-like face, whereas the Luxray in here is depicted as having a pushed-in facial appearance. The Boltmane has a mane and ears that extend down, which is not present in the Luxray, which would characteristically define these two as two distinct character types. Grisbolt versus Electabuzz. Okay. Electabuzz looks more like a plushie doll, whereas Electabuzz looks more like a small plastic doll. The eyes are different, whereas the eye shape is more of a half circle in Grisbolt, whereas it is more of an animated design in the Electabuzz. The patterns of the electrical striping on the belly are noticeably different, whereas the striping here is just a single bolt across the chest, whereas there are 3 bolts across the chest where one descends from the chin. There is striping on the arms of the Electabuzz, which is not present in the Grisbolt, whereas the Grisbolt has a single line stripe extending down its arm. The Grisbolt has 2 ears, much like that of a fox or or maybe even a llama, or even a bunny rabbit, whereas the Electabuzz has antennae, which would be reminiscent of an insect, and the Electabuzz has a tail that is striped, whereas the Grisbolt does not have a tail, or it has a short tail but is not visible in the photo. Jolthog versus Shaman. These two are drastically different characters, as you cannot copyright a hog appearance, as hogs are public domain, as they are just pigs. So the general design is protected under public domain. The appearances is that the Jolthog has a more pronounced style. Eyes are different, with the eyes being a freaking single black color and a white dot, whereas the Shaman has eyes that are green with a dot. It has a flower on the side, which is not present in the Jolthog, as well as its hair is a different style and is green to accent a floral pattern, whereas the Jolthog's appearance is a slicked back red to appear electrical themed. Therefore, these two cannot be confused for each other at a cursory glance, even if you squinted. Robinquill versus Decidueye. Okay, Robinquill here has a cloak and arms and utilizes a bow. Therefore, this creature just has wings and no arms, and it has feet for claws, whereas this one has actual feet that it walks around with. The headdress is different, whereas it has 5 quills in its headdress, whereas this one has one quill in its headdress. The eyes are noticeably different, and the face piece is not present in the robin quill. The eyes are different, whereas the eye is a solid white color with a larger shape and different shape, which constitutes a half circle, whereas the deciduous is more elongated. Since the wings are too radically different, they cannot be compared. The underbelly of the robin quill appears to be green, whereas this appears to be white, and the cloak on the robin quill or the tail feathers are green in the decidui, whereas they are orange and different shaped in the robin quill. Therefore, these two characters cannot be confused for each other and are noticeably distinct in design. Anubis versus Lucario. These are both based off of the Egyptian god Anubis, which is the jackal god from Egyptian mythology. Being that this is mythology, you cannot freaking copyright Egyptian gods as they are public domain, so we have to go into distinct features. So therefore, the jackal-like design cannot be copyrighted as it is public domain. And all right, the hood and the jackal appearance on the head. Alright, Anubis is wearing a hood with freaking wolf's ears that extend further longer than the Lucario design. Lucario has a spike on his chest, which is not present for freaking Anubis's Egyptian headdress. Therefore, these two designs, as Anubis has blue eyes, which are half circles, and the larger half circle red design of Lucario is a noticeable difference, as well as Anubis has 4 ears and what appears to be a stripe that is a headband across his face, whereas Anubis is wearing a full headdress, which creates these two designs as uniquely distinct from each other, and the mythological aspect of public domain plays into a role, so you cannot copyright the theme of Anubis in general, as that is a public domain category, as it is an Egyptian god. It would be like trying to copyright the design of Thor. Or Odin or something. You can't copyright mythological characters. Verdash versus Cinderace. Alright, let's look at Verdash versus Cinderace here. Verdant is a green creature with a mane around its neck, which is green theme. It has a larger tail, which is green. Cinderace has a small white tail reminiscent of the rabbit that it's themed off of. Its face has two extending features that are not present in the Verdash. The ears on the Verdash are much slimmer and elongated, whereas the Cinderace's ears extend further out and are much more pronounced and different. The trousers are different, whereas the green and yellow accentuations are different from the yellow and red accentuations. The boots are different, whereas the boots and in the Cinderace are blue and red, whereas it appears that the Verdash is not wearing any kind of boot at all, and it is completely yellow. The eyes are different, whereas the Verdash has what appears to be black eyes. The Cinderace has red eyes. The eye shape is different, and the mouth shape is different, as well as the headdress is noticeably different in size and shape, whereas there are two crests. There are two spikes up here, maybe even three shooting out, whereas the hat on the Cinderace is a single spike. The decoration on the spike appears to be a down arrow on the Cinderace, whereas the decoration on the hat of the Verdash appears to be a feather. Therefore, there is no way that you could ever possibly confuse these two as being the same character. Therefore, they are not the same, and it would be absurd to think that you can copyright the design of a bunny rabbit, because that is an animal which is public domain. Thank you. There's my quick compare and contrast video. Have a nice day.